It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 69. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, March 10th, 2024. Another great day for a podcast about video games and much more. So that is what we're here to talk about today. So welcome to the show. Hope you've been having a great week out there in the world. Hope everything's been going your way. Hope you've been playing some video games. And just thank you as always for joining this show here on a Sunday. On daylight saving time, we have sprung forward. We have lost an hour of sleep, but we have gained an hour of daylight. So I think that's a positive exchange, and I am happy about that. So that is a good, positive start to this Sunday on the Dep Lewis Show. But we are here to talk about video games. But I want to get down to some business to start the show. So please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review. Turn on notifications and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, that's a new one, Patreon, and more. Clips of the show are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow. And you can gain access to exclusive content such as the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. And you'll hear more about this at the end of the show. So obviously you want to listen to this whole entire episode, this whole podcast, and then you'll get the information about the Patreon at the end. So sounds like a pretty fair deal, I would say. And the show today is going to have 3 sections as always. In the first section, I'm going to talk about what video games I've been playing in the past week since I've last talked to you. So this is a inside look into a video gamer and what he's playing during the week. And this allows you to kind of see my video game taste and what I'm into, so that can flavor, when I'm talking about news and other games, you can just get a gist for what kind of stuff I like. So the first section is what I've been playing. And the second section of the show is going to be all the information from the video game world. So like video game news, video game releases, and things like that. So anything that's going on interesting in the video game world, I'm going to tell you about it in the midsection of this show. And then the final section of this show, in the Miscellaneous Talk section, is the section where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So there are a few different topics to discuss today, and then ending with the worldwide world of sports. So the worldwide world of sports is always talked about in the Miscellaneous Talk section, and that is no different today. So welcome to the show, the daylight saving episode of the Dep Lewis Show. We are springing forward into new podcast adventures out here, and hopefully some sunshine, because it's been raining almost every day. All right, so let's get into this. Let's see what we have going on. So nothing to note from last show. Just thank you for listening as always. And let's get right into what I've been playing this week. So what have I been playing? What video games have I been playing? So one of the main games I've been playing has been NBA 2K24. I've been on this for some weeks now. I'm back in the NBA 2K groove. I think I am slowly improving in this game. I have not been tackling the online interwebs recently, but I've been playing the computer, and I have bumped the difficulty up on the computer to all-star mode. So when I got this game, I had to bump the difficulty down to even get some type of rhythm or understanding of what was going on in this game. I don't know why it was so difficult. I guess it's because I haven't played this game seriously in many, many years. So just catching up to the times and trying to understand the game and emulate some of my old moves in the game, and getting back to some prior fitness in NBA 2K. So I've been balling out a little bit. I've been mainly playing as the Hornets. That's been my team I've just been playing a season with, and it's been very fun. It's a great podcast game, like I've been saying. It's very relaxing, and it is fun to improve your basketball skills. So I actually had a perfect shooting game with LaMelo. I had 35 points, and I didn't even know until the end. So that is some braggadocio stuff. I'm just bragging. So I'm getting a little bit better. I just had Brandon Miller get injured in my season, which is very disappointing. I think he's out for a couple weeks, so it's really putting a hindrance on my team and my rotation, but I guess that's how the real NBA goes. And Brandon Miller is my highest bucket getter on the Hornets, so it's cool looking at the season stats. When I started the season, you can make the season stats for the rest of the league adherent to the time that you're playing. So if I'm playing 5 minute quarters, and the rest of the league's playing 12 minutes, all their all their stats are going to trump mine. So that's what's going on in my league right now. So I wish I would have fixed that before starting, so I could see some more regular stats and then kind of see where I'm at in the totem pole. But it just looks like all the other teams are doing way better than me. But I am the number one team in the league right now, so that's pretty amazing. I haven't really been keeping up with that too much, and I checked it last night. I was number one, and I'm on like an 8-game winning streak, I believe it is. So it was a good time to bump the difficulty up, and hopefully I'm improving. So NBA 2K24 has been a great game in my rotation. It's been there for many weeks, and I think it's going to continue being there for the foreseeable future. And we're going to talk about the actual basketball at the end of the show. So NBA 2K24 has been a really great game, and having a whole lot of fun with it. So NBA 2K24, doing great. All right, the next game that I've been playing has been the main game I've been playing, the main course. And this has been the main single-player game that I'm trying to finish, and I've been making some progress on, and that is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I have moved on to Chapter 9. I think I'm getting pretty close to finishing Chapter 9, so it's been making some progress there. I believe there's 15 chapters in the game. I helped all the kids out that I could at Leaf House with Aerith, so that was one of the sections we were going around that town where Leaf House was, helping out those little kids, doing all these deeds, all these side missions, and then moving on. So we took a shortcut, and that is where we're going through now. We're going through some more tunnels and some more walkways and things like that. So what happened? We were walking up on one of the Turks. We saw Rude was his name outside of Aerith's house. Was cool. That was kind of like an integrated cutscene. You were just walking through the world, and the cutscene triggers. That was pretty interesting. And so it could happen anytime. You're basically doing side missions, trying to complete as much as you want to out there in the section, and then you stumble back upon the house and a cutscene starts, and it's this guy named Rude who wants to have a fight, and that was very rude of him, and I rudely had to show him what's up. And just very fun. The combat in this game is very fun. So I wrote I completed Chapter 8. Aerith's mom wanted me to leave, so I did, and then Aerith met up with me at the end, showing me a shortcut. Cloud's opening up to her more, giving her some more information. He's giving her a high five. She was really into giving him high fives, and he was hating it. And then he went to give her a high five, and she wasn't prepared, and then it made this little thing between them. So their relationship is growing. It's pretty cool. And I'm getting to see some of these characters' personalities develop a little more, since I'm not too familiar with Final Fantasy in general. So I see Cloud as this kind of silent merc who is very unemotional, but you're getting into some of the emotional psyche of Cloud in this game, and it's a little interesting tidbit, so it's been fun to watch that. And he was saying he doesn't know much about the slums. He enlisted in the soldier program shortly after he arrived there, I guess when he was young, or shortly after he was young, he became a soldier. It changes your eye colors with the Mako, or the Mana, the Mako. It's trying to sound like Barrett over here. And but he is an ex-soldier. He likes to tell everyone that he's an ex-soldier, so he does not agree with them, or they kicked him out. I do not know, but I will find out hopefully one day in my Final Fantasy VII adventures. And so I'm on Chapter 9. I'm trying to think what's exactly going on right now in my mission. I think I'm at the next, not like open world area, but side mission section where I can do multiple side missions before moving on if I'd like to. So I think I've completed one of those, and I'm there's 2 more of people I want to go question and get some information out of, and that is the point of the game I'm at right now. So what else? So this game's been very fun. I continue seeing myself playing this. I really want to get to complete this, and then I'm going to move on to Rebirth, and I think it's going to be very fun. I've been hearing that Rebirth is just nothing but better than this game, and that is pretty exciting because I'm really loving this game a whole lot. And I've also been playing some of this game through the remote play on my laptop. So I have my laptop here at my desk with my monitor, and then I have a TV and a TV stand, and that is where my PlayStation is. So being able to not have to move the HDMI cord or move the PlayStation 5 over here is pretty cool. I think it works well in games like Final Fantasy where you don't have to be too sensitive to the controls, where you're doing some exploring, you're talking. And then even the combat, I'm doing easy classic combat, so it's a little bit of auto combat where I'm just inputting like fire commands and spells and abilities and things like that. So it works pretty well to having some choppy remote play is all I'm trying to say. The remote play, it ends up takes a little bit to work its way to looking good, and then it kind of gets a section down, And then once you go to a brand new section, it takes a little while for that to load in. But that's pretty similar to the experience I had when doing this on the Xbox back in the day with my, I have a Mac laptop now, but I had some type of Windows laptop before, and it worked just like that with the Xbox. So it's a cool feature to have. It is working very well for this particular style of game for me, and just want to shout that out, that that's a really nice feature. So you just download the app on your laptop, and you can remotely play from your PlayStation 5. You just need to make sure the PlayStation 5 is either on or in rest mode, and then you can activate it from your laptop. So very convenient, very fun to do, and working really well with Final Fantasy. So I wanted to mention that. So Final Fantasy 7 Remake has been, not Rebirth, I'm still on the old one, still trying to complete that, and hopefully I will do so relatively soon, hopefully. I think these chapters are a little bit longer than I expected. Some of the early ones move a little bit quick, so I guess it's possible some of these later ones will do the same thing. But I think chapter 8 was pretty long, and chapter 9, I think I'm pretty early on in chapter 9, but they've been getting a little bit longer as chapters. I like the PlayStation will show you your progress, even on the overhead menu. It'll say like 43% on chapter 8 or whatever it is. So it's nice to see a number for those things, and a nice feature of the PlayStation. So those have been the two main games I've been playing this week consistently. But there have been other games I've been playing, trying to keep up with. But got a little bit back into a multiplayer groove with some friends, and haven't been able to play recently, but I've still been playing those games. So I've been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've been racing around the courses. I've been trying to complete the 50cc races. And Isabel and I are having a great time in that game, hitting the streets. So I just want to shout out Mario Kart 8 is a game I've been keeping up with and playing. I'm really just trying to complete all the races within 50cc, and then I'm going to move up to 100cc and so forth. So this is a little bit of a relaxation podcast game. So it's been a nice mix between NBA, 2K, and having some Mario Kart going. Some relaxation video games that are great for podcasting. So I just want to mention those on this podcast today. Another game I've been back playing some is Rocket League, and I've been back to the car soccer and just loving that game. That game is a classic video game. I think it can be fun any time of the day, any year. I think it's always going to be fun. Rocket League is amazing, and I've been having a whole lot of fun with this. I've been checking my stats. I think I have over 600 games played on my profile, and having some really good matches out there, just playing casual. I like to play casual 3-on-3 with no items, and sometimes I do ranked, but I've just been getting back in the Rocket League groove. It's a really fun game to play, short 5-minute multiplayer matches, and you can have a lot of fun, and it's a very difficult game, and a game that is fun to try to master. So Rocket League is always fun. You can play it on multi-platforms. It has cross-play, so just want to shout out Rocket League. Not that anyone's probably not heard of Rocket League before, but just been a great game and another fun game to have in your video game library. So go download that right now. And you don't even have to pay for online service to play Rocket League. It is free to play. So that is very nice and very fun. So Rocket League is a great game. So let's see here. What else do I want to say about my video gaming from the past week? Those have been the main games I've been playing. I'm still dubbing this the year of the RPG for the Dep Lewis Show. So the year of the RPG is starting off with Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and then going to go into Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And then I have a goal to play Yakuza Like a Dragon, into like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And then I want to finish Super Mario RPG, which I've been struggling with, and I've actually been trying to play some of that recently. I am stuck at a portion in Land's End where you have to drop through these holes, and there's this ant in these sinkholes, and you have to jump on his head 3 times or something, and you have to do it enough. And I don't understand, and I've looked up guides, and it's been a little bit frustrating in that game. I've been stuck on this point for a good bit in Super Mario RPG, but I am 5 out of 7 stars through the game, so I'm pretty close to finishing it, and I have a goal of wanting to finish that this year, in the year of the RPG. And then I want to move on after that to Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door Remake, which comes out later in the year for Nintendo Switch. It still has no release date, but this is a game I've played some back in the day that I had a lot of fun with, and I think this would be a perfect sequel game to play after playing Super Mario RPG. So year of the RPG. And then the other game in my docket is Baldur's Gate 3. I've been playing this game on and off since its release, but I have quit playing it for now, and I want to wait until cross-play is enabled, and then Sanfi and I are going to get together for a cooperative play of Baldur's Gate 3. So instead of double dipping there, since I can only complete so many video games at a time, I'm going to wait for the crossplay and play some cooperative Baldur's Gate 3 because I've heard that's a whole lot of fun and I am excited to do so. So the year of the RPG is going strong because this year I still have not played any new video games from the year besides playing some Persona 3 Reload on Game Pass, and I don't even know if I'm going to add that on my list. If I had to make a game of the year list, I don't know if I would just have that one game on there, but I've played some of that, and that has been the only game I've played this year. I've purchased some new games this year, but I haven't played them yet, so it's been a little bit strange, and there aren't too many games this year coming out over the course of the year that I'm really wanting to buy, so I think it's a perfect time for Year of the RPG and talk about some of these games and get into some newer games with beating Final Fantasy VII Remake. I can get into a new game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that is kind of my plan for now. So I just want to state that here again on the Dep Lewis Show, episode 69. So I'm going to take the first break. You're going to hear some lovely break music, and then we're going to come back for the midsection of this show where I tell you about all the best video game news of the last week. So all the video game releases, the news, the information, rumors, speculation, all the happenings of the video game world, all the things you need to know are coming to you after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 69. This is the section where I tell you about everything going on around the video game world in the past week that I think is interesting. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to tell you about was Xbox had a show called the Xbox Partner Preview. This took place on March 6th. It's around 29 minutes long. It had around 400,000 views after one day of looking when I was checking that. This is something that I have not actually watched yet. I read the preview about this. I didn't really know any of those games. They had all very complicated names, and Xbox showcases have not been really hitting too hard for me lately. I love some Forza. I love a few other games they're putting out recently, but nothing has really been grabbing my heart too much on these Xbox showcases. And I need to go watch this. I've heard some positive things about this, but even reading through the IGN summary, not a whole lot that I'd like to report from this Xbox Partner Preview, but I just want to make you aware that it's out there. So go watch it if you want to check out some Xbox information, possibly get some information on games you never heard of. And I possibly need to do so as well, but I just don't know if these games are going to be up my alley. So this was the second ever partner preview, according to them, with nonstop, no-frills news and updates on some exciting unreleased games from our studio partners around the world. So the two things I saw from this, of games that I recognized and wanted to report on here on the show today, Final Fantasy XIV. Square Enix revealed that the full releases of Final Fantasy XIV will be released March 21st, 2024 for Xbox. An open beta was released for Xbox owners about a month ago. So that was one bit of information I thought was interesting. And a game I've been thinking about trying. There's a free trial that you can play, but I just don't know if it's a great time to mix that in with all the other games I'm playing. And then Persona 3 Reload. Atlas announced the DLC episode, I guess it's Aegis, a brand new DLC. So very great, another addition to the Persona world. Getting the brand new DLC. So it's got some new content in it, this is a remake of an old game. So it's pretty cool to get some new content, and it is a game I played some of this year, and it's very fun. So Persona 3 Reload, getting some DLC announced, and then there was a lot of other updates in this show. So please go check out the video, and it's something I might do so myself, but I'm a little bit down on the games that are coming out for this year, and maybe even beyond. I think, next year we get Grand Theft Auto 6 and some other things, and I guess we're going to get a new... I don't know. I don't really have too many clues on what else is coming out in this year. It's looking pretty barren. I'm not trying to get too overhyped on some of these releases just because there's nothing else coming out. So I think there's going to be some cult classics in here and things people like, but I think it's going to take a little bit for me to discover them and if the world's going to like them as well. So I don't know. It's just a little bit of a weird time in the video game world. And this partner preview was not too exciting to me, just to be honest with you here on the show. All right, so let's talk about some more news of stuff going on. The next thing I want to tell you about was another game or another announcement, is that Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut, is coming to PC on May 16th, 2024. Their quote is, "We at Nix's are thrilled to collaborate with the talented team at Sucker Punch Productions, who created this critically acclaimed open-world action adventure. We are excited to bring Jin's story to a new audience and to bring a Sucker Punch title to PC for the first time. So that's pretty cool. And you can wishlist and pre-purchase now on Steam in the Epic Games Store. So Ghost of Tsushima is a very beautiful looking game with some cool combat, some different stances, and a pretty good story. So I played a decent chunk of Ghost of Tsushima when it first came out, and love some Sucker Punch games, and it's a really good thing to look out for. So it's going to be looking really, really good on PC on May 16th, and just wanted to report to you that that was coming out. Okay, so the rest of this midsection, that was basically the news from this week. The Xbox Partner Preview was the biggest thing I saw. A little bit of a Ghost of Tsushima coming to PC announcement. And then the rest of this section today, I want to talk about some games that are coming out. One of these is out currently, and then the rest are games coming out for March. So just a little bit of a look ahead at March and what's going on. I know I've probably talked about these games a few times, but I just like to keep mentioning them to keep them in your brain and keep you aware of what's going on out there in the video game world. So this first game, called Unicorn Overlord, has been getting a whole lot of hype online, a whole lot of critical acclaim, and a lot of people talking very positively about it, so I think it's something worthwhile in checking out. This released on March 8th, 2024 for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. Unicorn Overlord, and it is $59.99. I wrote down here Unicorn Overload, but that is not right. Let me check. Unicorn Overlord. Yeah, Overlord. Okay. And this is $59.99 US dollars, and this is from the masterminds that brought 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Odin's Sphere, and Dragon's Crown. Atlas times Vanillaware presents the rebirth of tactical fantasy RPG. Fight against fate and embark on a royal adventure to regain your reign alongside trustworthy allies. So this game combines the timeless tactical RPG genre with overworld exploration and innovative battle systems for a unique epic fantasy experience in the iconic Vanillaware style. You can cultivate a grand army with over 60 unique characters, from humans and elves to massive beasts and heavenly angels. So this game has been taking the world by storm, I would say. I don't know immediately just from listening if it's something I would like. It's the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. So this is a tactical fantasy RPG. So it's giving me the combat's looking a little bit like Fire Emblem or even Baldur's Gate 3. And I don't know if that is my preferred style of RPG combat. I think I am leaning on these RPGs of like in third person perspective with some combat. So a little bit like the third person action, but in the RPG form. So I think that's why Final Fantasy VII Remake is hitting so hard for me. I think that's why I've had some fun with Yakuza Like a Dragon in the day. I've had a little bit of trouble getting into the top-down, like even Super Mario RPG a little bit, but games like Octopath Traveler 2, Sea of Stars, I have those three in like a category of like top-down, more traditional RPGs. I just don't know if those are where my bread is going to be buttered on this year of the RPG, but this is about, sussing out my taste a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do here on the year of the RPG, is to really try them out and think about them here on the show. So Unicorn Overlord seems like a little bit of a higher barrier of entry. It seems like it has some pretty hard combat, but it seems like a very cool game. It seems very fun, and I definitely think you should go check it out if you have any interest in Unicorn Overlord, because I think it's having some massive success out there and people are really liking it. So go check out Unicorn Overlord. That released on March 8th, so available right now if you're listening in real time. All right, in the upcoming week, so we're just kind of doing a March look ahead of what's coming out in March 2024. And in this upcoming week, we have Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection coming out. It releases on March 14th, 2024 for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So the full gamut of consoles there it's coming out for. And I talked about this on last episode, but I just want to mention its release in this upcoming week. It is $34.99 US dollars. You can fight in iconic battles from across the Star Wars galaxy, and you can play the classic Star Wars Battlefront games on modern consoles, online and offline in this complete classic collection, massive locations with up to 64-player online support. So I said previously I've never played a Battlefront game, but I have not played one of these classic Battlefront games. I played on Xbox One. I guess it was the first reimagining of Battlefront for the modern era, and I had a decent amount of fun with that game. I think it had a lot of online issues when it first came out, if I'm remembering correctly, that really hampered it. really made it hard to enjoy it. I think that really was the case, but not 100% sure. But I definitely had a time playing that. But I never did get into there was a Battlefront 2 that came out in the modern era after that one, and I don't even think I tried that game. So I don't know, maybe the classic ones are the way to go. And if they can have some simple, fun combat that works well and runs well online, I think it could be fun, especially if there's a lot of different characters to choose from and things like that. So something I'm looking into and definitely slightly interested in. And Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection comes out on March 14th, 2024. All right, so looking forward. So that one comes out in the upcoming week, and all the rest of these games are coming out later in the month. So just going to have some quick hitters here. We'll probably talk about these more later in the month once they release and I hear some information on them, or some of these games I could possibly try myself. But I just don't know. I don't have anything too definitive of what I'm trying to play this year, so of new stuff. So it's a little bit strange. And so, but the Dragon's Dogma 2 is a video game that releases on March 22nd, 2024 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. This is an action RPG developed and published by Capcom. So that was something that I looked up on this game that I wasn't aware of. I know Dragon's Dogma has a pretty cult following, and a lot of people are big fans of that game, and it's a little bit underrated, it seems. And when I'm looking at this and seeing it's developed by Capcom, it's making a little more sense of the apparent quality. I think Capcom does a great job of releasing video games. And Dragon's Dogma 2 is a single-player, narrative-driven action RPG series that challenges the players to choose their own experience from the appearance of the Arisen, their vocation, their party, how to approach different situations, and more. So in the year of the RPG, this is definitely something for me to look into, but I have a pretty good roster of video games going right now for the year of the RPG, so it's going to be tough for some of these games to crack in, but hey, you never know. So Dragon's Dogma 2 releases on March 22nd, 2024. All right, the next game that I want to talk about is something that I was excited for, and I am no longer excited for. So I'm usually pretty positive on the video games and all these kind of things in general, but I'm having a little bit of on the negative side today, talking about that Xbox showcase, and then talking about this Princess Peach game. So Princess Peach Showtime is a new game coming out for the Nintendo Switch. It releases on March 22nd, 2024. And there's a demo out for this, so I would advise you to go try this demo. I think it's going to really put this game in perspective. And I think, I didn't even complete the demo, but I just was not amazed, but I was a little bit surprised about how simple it seems, how frame ratey it looked. Some of the cutscenes in the game looked really, really good, but the actual gameplay was a little bit framey. Princess Peach doesn't really move that quickly or jump that quickly, and it seems a little bit more designed. I know I don't know. I think it's kind of a little bit crazy thing these days. Video games can be enjoyed by any age, but this definitely seems skewed to a younger audience, is what I would say. And I'm really, really glad I tried this demo, because this was one of the only things when it was announced that I was really sure I was going to like this, and I was hoping it would just be a really kind of fun platformer based on Peach and not really be something simplified, but it's definitely seeming to be more on the simplified side of things, so it's definitely going to be a stay away on release day for me, but I'd like to hear some information of people playing it and see if it does get a little more complicated or more, just more like a traditional mainline Mario game. That's what I was kind of thinking it would be like, but it's seeming a little more simple. I think it was Logan on Nintendo Voice Chat saying it was a little bit more, expect something like the Yoshi's game that came out on the Switch, or some of the Kirby games even. So I don't think those are the biggest sales points for me to want to get it, but Princess Peach Showtime comes out on the 22nd, and I would just say be a little bit cautious if you have someone who loves Princess Peach that's very young. It could be possibly a fun thing, but there's probably, I don't know. I would say try the demo first. Would be a really, really smart thing here, and I think it's a great thing that video game demos have really been making a resurgence. It seems like most video games these days are coming with a demo, and that was something I don't think was happening for a while. So either way, go check it out. It might just not be my cup of tea, but it might be yours. Princess Peach Showtime on March 22nd, 2024. Okay, the last couple games I want to talk about coming out this month. I wrote one of these games come out on March 33rd, and that is definitely not true. So let me search that. This next game, Rise of the Ronin. It looks like it comes out Ooh, conflicting reports. Is it the 22nd or is it the 23rd? Let's see here. Doing some real-time research here on the Dep Lewis Show. Sorry. It's not really going to be that apparent either. March 22nd. Okay, so this next game comes out on March 22nd, 2024 for PS5, and that is Rise of the Ronin. And here I'm on the website. This is that game by Team Ninja. It looks like it's going to have some very difficult combat in a beautiful Japanese world from 1863. It's after 3 centuries of the Tokugawa's reign. The black ships of the West descend upon the nation's borders, and the country falls into a state of turmoil. Amidst the chaos of war, disease, and political unrest, a nameless warrior forges their own path, holding the very fate of Japan in their hands. So in this game, you can embark on an epic journey across the war-torn 19th century Japan in this combat-focused open-world action RPG from Team Ninja, the veteran studio behind Neo and Ninja Gaiden. So I definitely have some interest in this game. I'm hoping this game is going to be received very well and people are going to be loving it. And that is a possibility for me to jump into this. This is not generally a franchise style. A game with very difficult combat, open world is not something I'm usually going to complete or work on mastering, but games that kind of hit over the threshold of being just very, very good, like Elden Ring, will get me to jump in and want to try it out. So I could see myself having that with this game. Even thinking of Ghost of Tsushima was a little bit like that. Not something I'm going to have much hope of finishing going into, but just something I had to try because it looks so cool. And I feel like this game is a little bit in that category as well. So Rise of the Ronin is looking very, very awesome, and it releases on March 22nd, 2024 for PS5. So there's a really cool PS5 exclusive coming, and hopefully it'll be received very well. Okay, so just talking about a couple more games coming out in March, and that's all I have for you today in this midsection. So South Park Snow Day, it releases on March 26, 2024 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. So that is the latest entry in the South Park series of their kind of top-down RPG style games that are very, very fun and really translate the humor of South Park very well to the video game screen. And the last game I want to talk about is a game called Pepper Grinder. This was something I saw in some showcase recently and was first introduced to and just kind of interested based off the gameplay and the screenshots. It looked very cool. The gameplay looked interesting, and it looked like it would be fun to actually just be moving around in this world. So this game, Pepper Grinder, it releases on March 28th, 2024 for Switch and PC. It is an action-packed pirate adventure starring the titular Pepper, a seafaring soul with a passion for prospecting, and Grinder, her super-powered drilling device. So Pepper Grinder and the drilling device is the thing that they're showing off in the gameplay that looks very fun. And the thing I think that is the main component of this game. I think probably the most fun thing you're doing on a minute-by-minute basis. So Pepper Grinder releases for Switch and PC on March 28th, 2024. So that is going to wrap up this midsection of the show. Talked about the Xbox Partner Preview that is out right now. You can go watch the VOD on that, the video on demand. I think that's what that stands for. But you can go watch the archive on their YouTube. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is coming to PC in May. Then we talked about all the March releases coming out and just told you a little bit about those games and what we're tracking. So Unicorn Overlord is actually out right now. In the upcoming week, we're getting Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. And then for the rest of March, the games that I think are most interesting would be Dragon's Dogma 2, Princess Peach Showtime. Go try that demo. It really kind of unsold me on that game. So just Princess Peach Showtime, know that. Because it's something I was definitely really kind of hyping up before and interested in. Rise of the Ronin is probably the one that I have the biggest chance of trying to play. Rise of the Ronin, March 22nd, and then South Park Snow Day. Then we talked about Pepper Grinder. So all the great games coming out in March. It's got to be a year for me sort of up for the undiscovered with some of these games. Not a lot of things on the calendar that I'm pointing to that I definitely want to play, but a lot of things that are interesting, obviously, and there's going to be some good video games this year, and there already have been some good video games this year, so no reason to be too negative, but it's just a little bit different from last year where we had over 10 or 15 things on the calendar you can point to saying, I think I want to buy this, it's going to be awesome, and they all pretty much were awesome. So a little bit of a different year, and I guess that is part of the ebbs and flows of the video game industry. So that's going to wrap up this midsection. We're going to take one more quick break. You're going to hear some music, and then we're going to come back for the final section of this show. the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So very, very, very cool, very interesting, very mysterious. You never know what it's going to be. So you always want to listen. Even if you're just a video game fan, come listen to the Miscellaneous Talk section. It's usually the shortest section of the show. You can get some information. Maybe you'll learn something you want to be interested in, or just have some good entertainment for you in the Miscellaneous Talk section. So come back right after this music. Welcome back to the final section of the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 69, and this is the Miscellaneous Talk section. So this is where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So the first thing I want to talk about today is a little bit of sad news, or it's definitely sad news. The creator of Dragon Ball has passed away, Akira Toriyama, at 68 years old. So I just want to highlight that and send condolences out to the Toriyama family and just the whole world, all the Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball fans and lovers. It's a sad day. This man created something that a lot of people loved and spent a lot of time watching and talking about, and spawned many great things. Like there's Dragon Ball Z video games and just all sorts of cool things. So Dragon Ball Z, one of my favorite things from growing up and currently. So Akira Toriyama, sorry to hear that you passed away. And trying to think, Dragon Ball Z, love some Krillin. First started watching Dragon Ball Z, get made fun of liking Krillin. Goku and Gohan were some of my favorites, like Piccolo, and I like some of the bad guys too. Well, I guess Vegeta is kind of a bad, good guy, but just a really cool show. Some great video games. The Budokai games are super fun, the Tenkaichi, and then there's even that Dragon Ball Z Fighters that was very, very successful. So, and that Kakarot game has always been something I wanted to try. So just a really cool franchise, something that every couple years I'm like, hey, I'm going to go back and watch some Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. And this was just something back in the day, trying to buy the DVDs for this, even after it would be something you'd watch in the afternoon when it would air on Cartoon Network, like 4 o'clock or something like that. You catch the new episode, and then at some point they were being released on DVD, and that was really, really cool. So just had a long history of liking this franchise, and 68 years is pretty young, so sorry to hear that Akira Toriyama has passed away, but condolences, and please go check out Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all those, anything affiliated in that universe. And then I believe his art style was even inspiring that game Sandland, or he had some type of, I don't know if he had some type of hand in that, but there's that game Sandland coming out that has the similar art style. So it's either inspired by or something like that, or maybe he had a direct hand in it, but very, very cool. And it's hopefully we'll put some more eyeballs on Sandland coming out later in the year, because that game does look very, very cool, and hopefully it can be a nice tribute to Mr. Akira Toriyama. All right, so sad news there, but let's get into some good news. Friend of the show, Volinous, friend of the show and friend in real life. If you hear any music on the Dep Lewis Show, it is from the creations of Mr. Volinous, and very, very cool. And he has a SoundCloud page, so soundcloud.com/Volinous, and that is Volinous. So please go check that out. He just put a new track on there called Truly. It was very, very, very good, and he made it in very quick timing, it seemed like. He hasn't been on the beat making in a bit, but he's got back into it. He's been over there banging on drums, learning those or perfecting those, and he's been back to his beat making those. So go check this out. Go check out his SoundCloud. I'm definitely a big fan, and if you listen to the Dep Lewis Show and enjoy the music, you are a fan of Volinous as well. So go check him out. All right, some more stuff I want to promote of stuff that I like across the world and I think is cool and interesting. Some comedy talk. So I like watching comedy specials, and the Are You Garbage podcast is a really great one. They have a very successful Patreon and a fun interview style podcast where they try to determine by asking a series of questions if the guest is garbage or not. And it's just very fun. It's very lighthearted, and you get a really good look at some people that you like or people you don't even know. You get a really good, gives you some really, really good insight on who they are and how they operate. And this is a very great take on a podcast. So Are You Garbage? Please go support that. And I want to highlight that Mr. H. Foley has a new special out on YouTube. So that's what I'm here to highlight right now. And then also Kippy has Kippy has his special coming out soon, so please check out for that, the other part of the Are You Garbage duo. But Foley's is out right now. It's called H. Foley, live from Madison. It's a half-hour stand-up special presented by Are You Garbage, and it's on the Are You Garbage YouTube channel. When I checked, it was out for 13 days and had over 300,000 views, so please go support Mr. H. Foley. It was very funny. All these specials have been coming out recently from podcasters I like and comedians I like, so it's been a mass overflow of great content, so just want to shout them out when I can, and this definitely lived up to the hype and is a very just very good quality and very funny, and that is the main thing. Just very enjoyable and entertaining and funny, and please go watch H. Foley live from Madison right now on YouTube. All right, let's see here what else I got on the docket for today. This one I have a lot here, so let's get into some book talk. So one of my favorite authors is Brandon Sanderson. He writes just really, really cool fantasy, kind of high fantasy novels with people with powers trying to save the world, trying to uncover their own strengths and things like that. It's just kind of a little bit similar to something like Dragon Ball Z, but just a kind of general overcoming fantasy world powers kind of cool novel. But he does his own take on it, and it's one of the best in the world, I would say, at doing that. It's very fun, very cool, very, very great reads. Anything by Brandon Sanderson, please go check it out. I recommend it. But he has a new, I guess it's on backer.com, a new thing you can back called the Words of Radiance Leatherbound by Brandon Sanderson. So Words of Radiance is the second in Brandon Sanderson's epic series, The Stormlight Archive. It arrives in Leatherbound. You can also join in for the new Secret Project, which is its own thing, and then DragonSteel Prime, which is its own thing, and then also The Way of Kings Prime, second edition, Spren plushies, and more. So please go check this out. Go check it out on BrandonSanderson.com. You can get to Backer. It's called BackerKit, I believe, and it's his Words of Radiance Leatherbound promotion, or backer or backing, or it's like a Kickstarter. But there's all these different tiers. There's all these different things you can add on. So that is what I'm interested in. I have a friend of the show, Pab, loves buying these leatherbounds, and so these are always very interesting for him. And then this is also interesting for everyone else too, because it has the additions of the Secret Project, DragonSteel Prime. So those are two things that I purchased the ebook of. It was only $10, and you get a copy of the new Secret Project and DragonSteel Prime whenever those get released. And then I believe, so the new Secret Project is before the end of the campaign. Brandon will do a reading and title reveal to give you a sneak peek of what's to come. So love the Secret Projects, and Sando goes a whole bunch of different ways with those, so it's very, very cool and interesting. And then DragonSteel Prime is a story that was once only accessible in the vaults of the BYU library. So this novel takes place on Yolan and follows a young man named Jarek, as well as prominently featuring a fool who calls himself Topaz, who you may recognize by one of his many other names. The second half includes Brandon's first attempt at the Bridge Force story, with characters including Rock and Gaz, but a different bridge leader in Calden's roles. That's pretty crazy. And this was written immediately after Elantris in 2001. It's a non-canon peek at what might have been, and a favorite among Brandon's earliest readers. So when I wrote this this backer kit for promotion for Words of Radiance Leatherbound, had 22 days left with had over $15 million achieved and over 50,000 backers. So definitely not in need of support, but definitely deserving of the support, because Sanderson puts out some really great content, and these promotions are very cool, and he has great style to his leatherbound releases, and everything he puts out looks really cool, and just can't say enough about how cool it is. So please go check it out. And if you have any questions on where to start in the series, or want some tips on where to start or advice, you can hit up DepLewisShow@gmail.com. I got all the Sando knowledge. I've read all the Cosmere, and then friend of the show Pab has read them all multiple times, listened to them multiple times, so I can at least give you an informed advice on that if you ever need that. So DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Always can hit me up for anything. All right, so let's get into the worldwide world of sports. Not a whole lot to say here, too much for the worldwide world of sports, but the Carolina Panthers, they franchise tagged Brian Burns. So that was good to see. I wish they would get a long-term deal done. And I think there's still the possibility of another team could match the tag, and they could flip some picks to the Panthers if they wanted. Or they could still possibly trade him, but I don't know. Hopefully we're going to see Brian Burns playing for the Panthers. And my Panthers hype meter is probably at a 1 or a 2 out of 10. So that is not the best. I have there's sports gambling is coming to Charlotte, or not Charlotte, but North Carolina on March 11th. So it's going to be something I'm going to be taking some time in and doing some sports gambling. And it had me thinking of if I want to bet the Panthers. And I was like, man, I'd love to have a Panthers bet, but I don't want to bet against the Panthers is what I would think I would have to do. So I think the thinking there would maybe just to be to put a small amount on the Panthers, doing something positive and having that as a bet instead of trying to bet the under on the Panthers, which seems like a really bad fan move to do, even though it might be the right move to do in the betting world. But I'm going to talk about some sports betting on this show in the future. March 11th is tomorrow, so I'll be able to get in there on the FanDuel and mess around and hopefully, win a few bets would be nice. But it'll be fun to put some money down on the Braves and things like that. And over the course of the season, have a little extra skin in the game. With my group chat of friends, we like to bet. We usually bet beer money and stuff like that, just on random things across the year. So it's going to be fun to be able to do that a little more consistently. And FanDuel's actually given a lot of free deposits in there, so it's pretty nice and will be fun to do. And I'll definitely tell you about some of my adventures there on this show. But let's get into. So that's all I got for the football talk today. Let's get into some basketball talk. So the teams of the show would be the Charlotte Hornets. Still no LaMelo, and I'm starting to think that we're not going to see LaMelo anymore this year. I don't know if there's a huge reason to see LaMelo play or to have him play. I know the Hornets aren't really making any moves, but they did beat Brooklyn last night in Charlotte, and this week they're at Detroit, at the Grizzlies, at home versus the Suns, and then at the 76ers. So not really too many games left in the regular season. We're getting towards the end of it, so I don't know if it's a great time to rush LaMelo back, but it's seeming more and more like he's just not playing, and it's a little bit sad that it's just sad in general as a fan that you want to see him play, and the franchise is not really putting the team in the best position for him to play, but you still want to see him play either way, even if they're not having a lot of wins. You would hope to see him getting some reps out there and getting better. It's not like he's learned all he can on the basketball floor to be the best player he can. He needs to be playing, but you have the risk reward of playing in meaningless games. But I think if you're thinking that way, you're doing a little bit of a disservice to the player and their improvement. But Hornets have made some good decisions. I think they're on a decent track, and Brandon Miller has been a smashing success and definitely one of my new favorite players across the league, and one of my favorite players to play as in 2K. He's really, really fun in that game. Has a great mid-range. And then the other official team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Atlanta Hawks, this week they've been on a win streak, which has been nice to see. So they're playing without Trae Young, and they've been playing without Jalen Johnson now. He had an ankle tweak, so I don't know how long he's going to be out, but hopefully he'll be back soon. But the Hawks have been on a 3-game win streak, which has been nice. So they beat the Knicks. This has all been in the past week. They beat the Knicks, they beat the Cavs, they beat the Grizzlies. And today they play, if you're listening in real time, Sunday, March 10th, they play they're in Atlanta versus the Pelicans today at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm definitely going to be watching that and cheering on the Hawks, and hopefully DeJounte can be leading the guys to some more wins. So it's been good to see the Hawks getting something going. Clint Capella's been back, and they're still missing Trae Young and Okongwu, and then Jalen Johnson's been out, so they've been missing some pretty key pieces, but the other guys have been holding it down. We've had some good performances from DeJounte. Bogey's been doing his thing. Hunter, all the guys have been stepping up, and they've been playing good out there. So it's very nice to see for the Hawks, and hopefully that can continue and we can get some guys back and close out the season in a great fashion. So I'm taking on the Pelicans today, and just go Hawks. All I want to say, go Hawks. All right, the official Major League Baseball team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Atlanta Braves, getting ready for opening day over here. Ronald had his little bit of a knee hiccup going on, but he should be ready for opening day, so that's good to hear. And then AJ Minter was doing a prank trying to get Ronnie with a snake and had poor Ronnie running away. And I just don't think that's cool. Don't be messing with Ronnie, and don't be messing with me with the snake either. I'd be scared just like Ronnie was and not playing that game. But it was the Braves have some type of series going on where they're showing you behind the scenes stuff, and AJ Minter was there messing with Ronnie. So very good content, very funny to watch, and just getting some lighthearted stuff before they get to the grind of the season. So baseball season starts on March 28th for the whole league, and spring training is going on right now. I just paid for MLB TV, so I'm going to get into trying to figure out the best place to watch the Braves this year, and I think it's going to be MLB TV with the VPN, so we're going to see. My other option is Fubo TV, and it's just a little bit tough. I think we're going to the future where we're going to be able to pay for what you want when you want it. I already am doing that with League Pass. I just pay for League Pass and I can watch all the Hawks. They're sort of doing that with the NFL. They started sort of doing that last year with the NFL a little bit, making it a little more easier just to buy that and not have to be bogged down with a bunch of channels you don't want. So hopefully baseball is going to be getting there in the future as well. But trying to find the best way to watch the Braves, and I'm going to try to watch some of the spring training starting today. So definitely going to be a lot more Braves content on the show and in this section, and best time of the year, and I can't wait for March 28th. So go Braves, favorite team in the universe, and hopefully my favorite player in the universe, Ronald Acuna, will be ready to go. It can be healthy for all 162 is what I'm hoping for. So that's going to wrap up the Miscellaneous Talk section of the show. We did a bunch of Miscellaneous Talk today. So we talked about the unfortunate passing of Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball, so rest in peace to him. We talked about friend of the show and friend of real life Volinous, making a new beat on SoundCloud, so go check out soundcloud.com/Volinous. Does all the music in the Dep Lewis Show is from Volinous, so please just go support and check out his stuff over there. It's really, really great. And then I'm a fan of a podcast called Are You Garbage, and H. Foley has a new special out called Live from Madison on YouTube right now, so please go check that out. We talked about Brandon Sanderson's new promotion, BackerKit, I think it's called, for his Word of Radiance Leatherbound, but there's a lot of other additions there as well, such as the Secret Project and DragonSteel Prime and the Way of Kings Prime. So a lot of other things you can add or just buy on their own there. So please go check out that by Brandon Sanderson. And then we got into the worldwide world of sports. We talked about the Carolina Panthers, we talked about the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves. So just thank you for being a listener to this show. One of my favorite things to do each week is get on this microphone and give my thoughts on the video game world and the sports world, and sometimes the comedy world and the book world, just other things I'm a fan of, and hopefully provide some information and provide some entertainment. That is the goal here. So I just thank you for listening and being on the receiving end of something I do every week that's very, very fun. So I just want to reiterate some more promotional stuff from the beginning, just once again to hopefully help out my progress as a podcaster and content creator. So please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow. $1 a month for the ground floor tier right now for the first 100 patrons. With this tier, you will gain access to an additional podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. This is a podcast without a plan and has a freestyle schedule, but is a great way to get additional content and support the show and the Dep Lewis Show universe in general. After the first 100 patrons, the regular price for this tier will begin. Ground floor tier pricing will never change and will gain access to all Dep Lewis Show Patreon content always. So just thank you for the support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all that you do. Hope you play some video games out there this week. I hope you watch some sports. Hope some of your teams win. I hope you beat some games. I hope you get a raise at your job. Hope you get some time off from your job. I hope you have some fun. I hope you get some sun. I hope you get to work on your tan now that we're in daylight saving time. And I just hope you have a great week out there in the world. And I hope you come back here and listen to another great episode of the Dep Lewis Show next week. Thank you for being a listener, and I will see you next time.